5, 6, 7, 8. It's a mess, sis. Oh, it's a mess, sis.
Hello, everybody, and
It's a
welcome
mess,
to the
sis.
podcast. It's a mess,
It's a
sis.
mess,
So, what
sis.
exactly is a mess? A
It's a
mess
mess,
is a
sis.
situation or a state of affairs
It's a
that
mess,
is
sis.
confused or full of difficulties.
It's a mess,
The
sis.
mess is when things don't go the way you plan. It is when you have to go off script,
5,
improvise,
6,
ad
7.
lib, sit through the
It's a mess,
awkwardness,
sis.
and breathe through the pain until you come out on the other side, because you will come out on the other side. It is everything that makes life interesting and transformative. It is what we are here to do. It is how we learn how to be.
So, join us as we dive into this week's mess.
It's a mess, sis. Oh.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. It's a mess, sis, my favorite podcast. I'm Jess, working through the mess, and I'm so glad you came back to hang out with us again.
All right, and I'm Rena. I'm your other host, and I'm a social worker, questioner, why-er.
Okay,
Yeah,
wire.
just why?
Uh-huh.
Why? And I'm just in an interesting mood, and I just thought everybody should know that. And I
Okay.
feel like this episode should be really interesting. So that's my introduction, because,
Period. Let them know. She in an interesting mood today. It's gonna be a lot of whys, I guess. A lot of questions today.
Be a
That's
whole
what I'm
bunch of
gathering.
whys, because I just want
Okay.
to know why.
Period. You guys are joining us for episode 50 called "It's Not Me, It's You." That's funny. I just saw that. Yeah, that's hilarious. Self-confidence versus delusion, and I'm really excited to get into this. But before we do, we have a little segment called "What's the Mess?" I'm gonna ask Rena, spill that tea, bitch. What's the mess?
Okay, so I went to a twerk birthday party,
Okay.
a 60-year-old's twerk birthday party. And while I was in the back of her room, talking with friends and such about life, I realized that I'm becoming an advocate for the abolition of work as we know it.
Okay.
Or maybe I've just kind of had too much time to myself to think about how I don't have enough time to myself.
Okay.
Long story short, 8 hours a day is too long. It's too much. 5 days a week is too much. And I don't want to do it. And I feel like we should just all stop.
Yes.
As a people.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, everything is good.
Other than that huge, massive undertaking and knowing about yourself, everything's fine.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I'm there. I feel like it's like a collect. I feel like so many people are feeling that. I mean, most people have always felt. I feel like most of us have been like, "Oh, we don't want to work, blah blah blah." But it's just like, it's just so dumb.
I feel like if we all just stop working, and we stop taking money,
okay,
then literally it would have no use. Like it has use because we keep taking it, we keep using it, we keep circulating it.
Right. But okay, and now hear me out, because a bitch be hungry. So how we gonna eat? That's all I be needing to know. I can make do with finding shelter outside of conventional shelter, but I do need food. So we got to work some kind of way, because where we gonna get the food from? Even if we tilling the land and things and such and the like, who's doing it?
We you said, we all do it. We grow the food. We grow the food.
Okay. I'm down with quitting. Let me know when we done. I'll walk out that bitch so quick. We need to have some food already growing though. We can't just, you know what I mean? We need to have it needs to be prepared.
I ain't think all of this through.
You just tired of that shit.
I'm just tired. I got work tomorrow.
Listen, I hear you.
As I just said, everybody should stop working. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to work tomorrow. And
as I say, not as I do.
Pretty much.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure out how to work less. That's really just it. I want more time to myself. I'm realizing that that's really what I want. I thought it was money. I thought it was the G-Wagon, but what I really want is time, my time, as much of it as possible. So
what would you do with it?
Gosh, whatever I want. I would spend a lot of time thinking. I would probably thinking and learning and helping. I like to help people when I'm not doing it for a living. I'm just doing it because, this is what I feel like should be done.
Right.
And maybe that's what I should be doing anyway. That's how I should be approaching life anyway.
Mhm.
Just do things that I feel like should be done
Yeah.
and just happen to get compensation for it.
Right.
But it's not really working out that way right now for
Yeah.
me. But eventually,
It will.
but there's so much I could do. I would read. I would read a lot. I would
Mm.
master the guitar. I would learn how to play
I
piano.
thought you was going somewhere else with that master. I was like, wow. Tell us how you really feel. Clearly, that's what's on my mind. Go ahead. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
that's what you would be doing with your time.
I sure will.
Mastering self. That's what we'll call it.
Period.
Stupid. But I just feel like I would probably talk to people, have conversations, just not be stressed, not worry about bills, sleep, be at one with nature, learn how to pickle, crochet, learn how to farm, to contribute.
Yeah.
Just learn.
Yeah.
Learn and explore. Until
that would be incredible. Like, that would be incredible. I feel like that's why we're here, to just keep learning shit and doing shit. Because they have they've frightened us into this whole idea of, if you don't have to work, nobody will do anything for society and it's going to collapse and blah, blah, blah. I just don't feel like that's true. I will do my part to make sure that we're all eating. I just don't want to do it every day for 400 hours out the week when there's only 500 hours in a week. Like,
Right.
That doesn't make sense. I can go till the land on Monday and have the rest of my week free. Somebody else does it on Tuesday. So, we would do what we had to do to survive without doing so much. Like, our souls are exhausted.
Right.
I'm here with you.
It just seems like there's just like a whole generation. There's generations who just don't understand work anymore.
Yeah.
We just don't understand why we're working, because we're not getting the benefit.
Yeah.
I literally had a conversation with someone and they're like, I am working and I feel like I am getting nothing from it.
Yeah.
I'm just getting paid enough to sustain myself and to get to work. I'm
Yeah.
not getting anything from it other than that. And I'm like, that's just the basics.
Right. Right.
Like, back in the day, you could get a house, you could get a second house, you can get a station wagon or a sports car. You can get a time
vacations and
yeah.
You had a little bit of luxury to go with it, or whatever.
Right.
What felt like luxury. It's, if you still look at it, it's still bullshit. But at least it felt like less bullshit.
At least they were getting the bullshit. Like, they're not even bullshitting us anymore. They're like, do it or else. And like, what's the else?
You gonna die.
Else? And they were like, cool. And then as soon as you say that, they're like, lock her up, put her on meds so she can get back out there and work. And it's like, so damned if I do, damned if I don't.
Kind of.
That sounds like slavery, but
I mean, well, that's the real conversation we need to have.
Right.
What a mess. I feel you.
As always.
I feel you. Yeah. I mean, that's real shit though. I resonate. I'm tired of this shit. I'm ready to be rich, or we all say fuck it together.
Right.
But we can't do shit together. So that's the scary part.
And I mean, they know that. I think that's it. We think it's just Black people that can't like come together. I'm like, it's all of us as humans have a hard time just coming together.
Right. We do.
Like, I just want to see what would happen if just nobody went to work for a day.
That'd be incredible.
Just like,
it would be scary, but it would also be incredible.
Right.
Like, just changing it up, just
everything will shut the fuck down.
Yeah, that'd be wild.
So
we need to stock up on food before. Clearly, a bitch is hungry. I'm starving. I am starving. I got off of work. This is later than our usual time that we do this.
Never.
And I am starving. Okay, usually when we do this, it's too early in the morning, but today I was at work, so I didn't have time to eat. And now I'm just thinking about food. I bought food, but it's waiting for me after this.
Okay, so we're gonna get to your mess.
Okay. And then
we'll continue on to the topic, let people know what's up.
Okay. So my mess is that I'm tired. Like, physically.
I feel that.
I had an amazing weekend. but it was like a lot. And I just got back this morning, went to work, and now I'm doing the podcast. It's like a lot, it's just a lot in a short amount of time. But I'm grateful that I have the energy. I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to do all these things, the money to fly and fly back home and all that stuff. So I'm happy. I'm tired. And I also have like a lot of mixed emotions going on right now. Yeah, so there's a lot of fun shit happening this month. So at the end of this week, the premiere for my musical is happening. Yeah, my friends are coming. I have somebody flying in to see it. Oh no, not for this one. They're flying in for another thing. But I have, lots of people coming, whatever. And then I have some family who's like really excited to come and see, and I'm just pumped. I'm excited. I'm ready to see it on the big screen. But there are a lot of people that I would like to share this moment with that are either not in this realm of existence anymore, or I don't have contact with them anymore. And that kind of like, sometimes I'm just like, wow, I am obviously very grateful for the place that I am at. I'm really excited. And when I get there, these thoughts will probably be a million miles away. But just right now, there's been a lot of like, ooh, it's like a little wince, like, like that kind of hurts a little bit, because this is like a really amazing moment. And I'd like to tell my mom, I want my mom and dad to come and be like, yo, this is like huge, your first premiere or whatever. And so, yeah, I just been kind of sitting with that and just being okay with it, and not like beating myself up about the fact that these like little moments are a bit triggering for me. But yeah, so that's what's going on. My mess is that I just got a lot of mixed things that I'm like experiencing at the same time, and such is life, though.
Yeah, I think that's what's interesting about the human experience, that you can have joy and sadness at the same time.
Which is why I really loved Inside Out. It was such an articulate way to tell everybody, because those movies are for adults as much as they are kids, that some of these moments are just intertwined.
Right.
And yeah, so that is my mess. But yeah.
I mean, it sounds like you have a lot of great things going. And even though people, aren't able to share this moment with you, I feel like they know.
Yeah.
They've always seen it for you, especially your mom. I feel like your mom knew before anybody.
Yeah.
And, even the ones who are here and aren't able to make it, I think people know. And, sometimes you have things happen, things shift, and not everybody's able to enjoy it with you.
That's true.
But, I feel like you still want the best for people. Love is always still there, whether people are present or not. So
yeah, I'm
excited for you. And it sounds like you have a lot of people surrounding you.
I do.
I wish I could be there.
Same. That'd be so dope.
Right. But
life. Okay. Right. Money's work, life, all of it.
Getting in the way.
There'll be more stuff. There's lots of things that I plan on doing. So stuff. Yeah. But that's the mess. I was thinking about it. I was like, yeah, I'm really feeling that thing. It's interesting because, I went on the trip. I just went on a trip this past weekend, and I was talking to my friend who is of the therapist variety, and it was so insightful. It was so insightful. I was so grateful for the conversation and just like the opening of, my mind and my understanding, which I have a lot of self-awareness, but it's nice to check in with outside of yourself, which kind of leads us,
I was just about to say,
to this topic. Yeah. So if you'll remember, it is episode 50, and it's not me, it's you. Self-confidence versus delusion. So why did we choose this topic, Rena?
Why you say it like that?
Rena, tell the people why we chose it.
Okay, so it's my topic. I own up to it.
I own up to it.
I own it. You know how you think you're good at something, right? Or meant to be something, but it hasn't happened yet. You don't have a clue how to make it happen. And then you question if you have the drive at all.
Okay.
Then it leads to that question, like, are you as destined for greatness as you think you are? Or do you have a delusion of grandeur? And that is what led to this topic. Like, I feel like I'm low-key suspicious of myself. Am I as great as I sometimes think I am?
Wow. Okay. Yes. I mean, you presented the topics. Y'all know we kind of go back and forth, and this was just presented via text message. So we didn't even like really talk about it. So just hearing your perspective of why is really interesting, because that's kind of what was going through my head when I read it. I was like, you know, I'm getting more into. I'm not gonna say fully what it is, because it's gonna get into like the fullness of it. But I think a lot of things.
Okay.
And I'll be like, are you going too far, bitch? What's up, ho? So I'm intrigued for myself, to kind of go in there and dive down. What is self-confidence versus what is delusion, and how do we decipher the two for ourselves? Like that's really interesting. I'm excited to kind of like dive in. I'm very intrigued by this one. When I saw that, I was like, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that one.
Right. That's it. Because when you get that feeling, you gotta go with it.
Yeah.
So it seems like we were in the same vein with it.
Yeah.
As usual. So we're just gonna get to it. I'm gonna tell you the agenda. Normally you say, "Oh, I'm gonna tell you the agenda." I'm telling you that I'm gonna tell y'all the agenda.
Period. So, take charge. Take the reins.
So the agenda for this episode, as always, is to dig it down, which stands for define, impact, and cope. So in this episode, we define what it means to have self-confidence and what it means to be delusional. Then we discuss the impact of those definitions on our view of our confidence in ourselves. And then lastly, we talk about how we cope with our understanding of all of the above and how we would like to proceed in the future. We make each section clearly known, so feel free to pause throughout the sections to give yourself time to answer. You'll either hear Jess or myself say, okay, we're defining now, we're at the impact or the cope. And this is a time where you can pause, you can jot down your answers, your thoughts, just do what feels right for you. We've designed this to be interactive so that you can kind of process along with us.
Indeed. That was lovely. Thank you for that rundown, Rina.
Thank you.
And as she said, we are now to the definition. Okay? Right. So when I think of self-confidence, I think of a sureness in oneself and their abilities.
Okay.
This is without prompt or validation from others. If no other soul ever told you, you still know it for yourself. This is what I feel. Google co-signs this and says that it's a feeling of trust in one's abilities, qualities, and judgment. So, for instance, I am confident that I can learn anything. Nobody has to tell me about my mental abilities to acquire information and learn shit. I'm confident in that.
It's going to be such a good episode.
I'm confident in that. So then what is delusion? Delusion, again, this is what I feel. Delusion is when you believe something that's not true. That's basics for me. So, Google says, though, that it's an individual belief or impression that is firmly maintained despite being contradicted by what is generally accepted as reality or rational argument. Typically a symptom of mental disorder. I had to throw that in there because that's what it says. So you used this actually earlier in when you were talking about this. One of my favorite phrases is delusions of grandeur, which essentially means that you believe you are grander than you are. And so when does self-confidence become delusion? Like, is that a thing? So for me as a scientist, I answered that question. I'd have to say it's when the facts don't back up the thought.
Yeah.
For instance, if I thought I was the president of the United States and I tried to go to my home at the White House, because that's the delusion of grandeur, the reality or the facts of the Secret Service shooting my ass down
Going
would
down.
prove that that was a delusion. That is a delusion. You know? So those are my definitions of both self-confidence and of delusion. So I find myself very confident in things.
Okay.
This is going into the impact. So I'm just gonna leave that with the definition. I'm gonna leave it that's my definition of both self-confidence and delusion.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And yourself, or do you have questions?
Oh, I have questions like mixed in.
Okay.
But I'm gonna start with my definition of self-confidence, which I think is close to yours. So my personal just definition that I just pulled from the sky.
Right.
Is that self-confidence is a firm belief in yourself based on accomplishments, achievements, work, and internal as well as external validation. So that right there is
where we differ.
It's where we differ. And I guess I have a question with that.
Okay.
So should I ask my question now? Since we're
it's up to you.
Okay. I have a question.
Okay.
Do you feel like it's possible to have confidence without having self-confidence? Like, do you feel like there's a difference between confidence and self-confidence?
I feel like there's false confidence.
What's false confidence?
That's okay. So I feel like, have somebody ever propped you up to do some shit that you didn't feel confident about? And you went to do that shit, you fucked some shit up? This is like a lot of like schoolyard shit where the kids are like, you can do it, go. They're trying to push you to do like the monkey bars or some shit. And you got this false confidence because they saying all this shit. You hearing them saying you can do it, go, because they can do it. Their wrists aren't fucking weak, but yours are. And you know yours are. But you hear these motherfuckers telling you to go on the monkey bars, and now your ass done broke your arm because you couldn't hold on because you knew you couldn't do it.
This sounds like a real personal story. Did this happen?
Hell no. Wasn't nobody about to bully me into no shit. I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, I feel like in that scenario, you had confidence in that moment because you were hyped up by people, but you didn't have self-confidence.
Right. That's not confidence, is it?
That's
I think
my
that's
question.
False confidence. I think that's false confidence.
So you're pretty much saying you cannot have any type of confidence if you don't have self-confidence.
How can you? I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I can't rationalize how you can be confident without it coming from yourself, from within. Is it? Yeah. How?
I guess by being narcissistic.
That's still yourself. That's especially yourself.
Yeah,
right?
That is especially yourself. You're right.
Yeah. That's not to say that.
I mean, I feel like it would be false confidence, but that's still confidence. Like people can, if it's based off of external validation, if somebody is like, for instance, like say you grew up all the time hearing people say, oh, you're so pretty, you're so pretty.
Okay.
Like, I feel like you can have that confidence, but if you don't feel like great about yourself inside, like it's that.
How do you have the confidence if you don't feel it?
All right, so pretty much self-confidence is a requirement for true confidence.
Wouldn't you say? Or what is your answer? Because you're spiraling on mine, but you haven't said. You have the questions. You don't never answer though.
That's the whole point.
No, I want to know because I really am intrigued. Like what, when you asked that question, what was your thought process?
Damn, you feel a way about me asking the question at all.
No, not that. I'm just saying, like,
well, because
did you think that you could, or like, have you been around that?
I'm about to answer your question.
Okay.
So, in my definition, I said that self-confidence is based on internal and external validation.
Okay.
So that led me to think, what if you didn't have internal validation? You only had external validation. So I'm like, okay, is it possible to be confident without having internal validation? So that's what made me ask the question.
Okay. Well, I think that, external validation, I love validation. We talked about this before. So I feel like it is handy. But you telling me that I am a good singer, you telling me that I am pretty, you telling me that I am anything that I want to hear, I'm smart or whatever, that is only going to go as far as I have room to like accept it. If I don't really believe that, I'm standing on like these, it's like being on straws. Like I'm being propped up on straws and that shit's flimsy and weak. It's hollow. You know what I'm saying? There's no room for it to like really sit in there and like really mean something. So I'm not here to say that external validation is like poo poo, because I fucking love, tell me some shit. If I cook for you, tell me that shit fire. Hype me up, sis. I like to hear that shit. Tell me I'm smart. Tell me I'm funny. You can tell me I'm pretty. That's fine. That's like that one goes. It goes like this for me: smart, funny, fire ass cook. You know, you can say something about my attractiveness. Like that's fine. It's neither there. Because I mean, whatever. But what does this look?
Now I'm just like kind of watching you like rank it, and then as soon as you talk about like your outward presence, you're just kind of like, I mean, you can say that if you want to or whatever, but the other ones were just so strong. But
because I feel like with external, like with looks and stuff, like there's nothing I've done for that. Like I just look how I look. But like my intelligence, I've worked for that. My humor, I've worked for that. My culinary skills, I've worked for that. You know, so those mean a lot to me. That's why, like with the looks, I mean, this is just how the fuck I look. Ain't shit I can do about it. But so I'm not poo-pooing on external validation. But if I didn't feel those things about myself already without y'all saying that shit, it would be falling on deaf ears in a sense to me.
No, I agree. I absolutely agree. I feel like it's not really real until you believe it. And people can say externally, can hype you up as much as possible, you know, but if you don't connect with it, then it'll hold up for a little bit, but not for long. Yeah. Eventually, as soon as they walk away, it's gonna be gone. You're gonna be dropped.
Or somebody tells you something different. If somebody told me right now, like, "Ooh, you sound horrible when you sing," I'd be like, "Wow, that was fucking rude." But it's not gonna crumble my whole idea of my talent as far as a singer. Like, okay, cool, you didn't like it. All right, move around. But you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So, but you didn't say your definition for delusion.
Oh, I'm getting to it. So for delusion, I actually, you know, being the social worker and into abnormal psych and everything, I looked it up because I wanted to make sure that I was giving accurate information.
Okay.
So this is a definition that I found on verywellmind.com. I actually really like the definition. Okay. So they pretty much say that delusions are defined as fixed false beliefs that conflict with reality. Mm-hmm. Despite contrary evidence, a person in a delusional state can't let go of these convictions. Delusions are often reinforced by the misinterpretation of events. Many delusions also involve some level of paranoia. So that, you know, I felt like that was a good definition for me. Mm-hmm. Now onto my personal definition. Like when I came up with this, you know, I was thinking, when I thought delusion, I was thinking mainly arrogance. Okay. Delusions of grandeur and narcissism. Mm-hmm. So pretty much, you know, having this grand idea of yourself with no work or evidence to back it up. Okay. And I felt like for the most part, my personal definition matches with what I found. Like,
okay. I have questions, because how many people have thought so big of themselves with no evidence to back it up, and then eventually that everybody else saw that thing? You know, this is just the one that's popping in my head, Lady Gaga, where they had that whole Facebook page of like, Stephanie, whatever her name is, will never be famous. Like, who the fuck are you? This is what they're thinking about her. Like, who are you? You have delusions of grandeur. This is what they thought of her. I don't know how real this is, but this is just, you know, based on what I've seen in pop culture, that there was a whole Facebook page about her in college or high school or something, basically saying like, sit your ass down. You ain't nobody. You will never be famous.
People are putting a lot of energy into putting other people down.
That's sad. That is a thing. But what I'm getting at is that if you feel so strongly about yourself without evidence, but it comes to fruition. Was it delusions of grandeur? Or did we just not recognize? Like, that's the hardest part, because that's what triggered for me when you're saying there's no evidence or work to back this up. Like, why do you think so highly of yourself that you're going to be this famous?
So she didn't have work. She didn't have work. She wasn't singing. She wasn't doing shows. Clearly, she had been singing around somebody or told somebody that this was her dream, or was seen somewhere doing something, that to the point where they were so threatened by her work that they decided to create a whole Facebook page dedicated.
I mean, yeah. Okay, so you're saying like she doesn't sing at all, or she doesn't do anything at all. Then they're like, okay,
literally me just sitting here and be like, yeah, I'm Beyonce. I ain't even trying to impersonate Beyonce. I'm like, I am Beyonce.
Okay. Okay, Queen B. Can I have autograph? Okay, right. I feel you. Okay, that makes more sense.
Like, I think work is a critical component of it.
Okay, even if what if it's not good?
Like IJJ.
Yes, but he is who he is.
But does he
we know this nigga name, he don't know us.
Does he claim to be great though? Like maybe I feel like confidence can be derived for certain things. Like, people think, oh, you shouldn't be confident about that because you don't sound the way somebody thinks you should sound. We don't know if that was his goal. What if his goal was just to sell his 10,000 records that he sold on Apple and like be able to live off his music, and he don't care about being good or not, or good to you or not. And some people actually think he's good because the humor of it all. They're like, I don't know if you're serious. I don't know if you for real or not, but this is funny. And I'm going to pay $1 on iTunes for your record.
To hear it, yeah. I mean, oh God. This one was an interesting one because.
And you know, I got a question.
Okay. Ask it, because I'm still kind of like in the thoughts of things. Go ahead.
So then my question is, okay, what's the difference between like arrogance and being delusional?
I think arrogance has some legs to stand on.
Okay.
Because you know, it has some legs to stand on. Like, you are good, or you are strong, or you are the things. It's when you think, I think arrogance comes when you think you can treat other people shitty because of your accomplishments, because of your betterness than someone. Like, oh, I'm smarter than you, so I can treat you like shit. Or I sing better than all you hoes, I'm gonna treat y'all like trash. Or I'm stronger than you, I feel like it comes from the behavior of knowing how good you are generally. This is a grand generalization, but I don't know. That's how I feel about people who are arrogant. I'm just like, so because you feel like you get to, treat people like trash. I don't know. You got questions over here.
I just had a little thought though. I was like, okay, so I feel like arrogance is like kind of in the family of narcissism a bit. And I feel like narcissism is actually kind of born out of insecurity. So I feel like people are arrogant because I don't think they truly believe that they're as good as they are trying to make others believe.
Mm-mm.
You think?
I mean, maybe. I believe arrogant people think themselves better.
I think there's insecurity in that too, because if you truly have self-confidence and you feel like you're good, you don't need to put other people down to like showcase how great you are. It just is.
I feel like there's some other traumas that's affecting them and how they're presenting that. But I feel like arrogant people, I do with the narcissism, I agree with you on that one. But with the arrogance, absolutely not. They really, this is my opinion, obviously. But I really feel like arrogant people are not studying your ass. They like, I am better than you. And sometimes the reason that I feel like there's a difference is because the people that I have known that are arrogant, they have reason. And they know that. And this world is made of power dynamics and structure. So because I am better than you, I deserve better than you. And how dare you think you're on the same level with me when I am smarter than you, prettier than you, wiser than you, this than you. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. It could be, you could be right, but I just feel like I've met a lot of arrogant people, and most of the time,
insecure?
no, I don't feel that, but I could be wrong. I do feel insecurity in a lot of narcissism, but with the arrogance, I feel like it's
your need to put people down right there just tells me you're insecure. You're threatened.
okay. Maybe they are insecure about something, but not about the thing that they're arrogant about.
Okay, I give you that.
You know what I'm saying? So I will go there. Yeah, I think to put anybody down, there has to be some level of insecurity.
So they're trying to use that as leverage.
Yeah,
you're like, oh, I'm such a great singer, but like, I don't know, I got a bum leg. But
yeah,
don't focus on that.
Or I'm not really as smart, or you know, something.
There's some place where they feel like they're lacking, and they feel like they gotta put people in there.
Overcompensate.
Yeah, they have to overcompensate.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, delusion,
I can see that.
You know,
delusion.
You ain't got no leg to
You have no talent.
Yeah.
You just really thinking you better than everybody, and you have nothing. You've done nothing. You are nothing. No, I'm just playing. That was harsh.
Okay, who hurt you?
I'm just being funny. I'm just being silly. But I feel like when you're delusional, it has no basis in reality.
Yeah.
Like it's those people on American Idol who went to go sing and they are completely tone deaf, and they're like, no, but my mama said I could sing. And they're like really going back and forth with the judges.
That's that confidence.
Child.
With the external validation.
That's that delusion.
They didn't even say I could sing because I think I could sing. They said my mama said I could sing.
Yeah. I feel like delusion is being defiant against facts.
It's like you're trying to defy reality.
Reality. The reality is nobody likes how you sound. You sound trash.
I love talking to a Virgo about reality. They will protect it to a fault. It does not matter. All earth signs, if you come for reality, they will come for you. That's
right. True. Why would we not come? What?
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying, look, calm down. You all right?
Because I'm confused by what you're saying. Why should we not defend reality?
I'm not saying you shouldn't. I didn't say that at all. I'm just saying I just love that when you bring it up. Just you're defensive right now, and there's nothing to defend. I am agreeing with you.
Reality needs defense. I'm just kidding, but yeah, you're right.
Clearly,
it's
like y'all are part of this like task force from birth, and then as soon as somebody says reality, it like triggers something in you that you don't even realize. It's like you're a sleeper agent or something.
I believe that.
Reality.
I believe that. I really do. We do have a very strong conviction to bring you back down to earth. Like, I don't know where you were trying to go, but my nigga, we're here on earth.
They will
and we are grounded, and we finna help ground you because you floating off to another place that you don't belong. So we probably are sleeper agents. I would not be surprised. Not why I would have. We're just trying to help y'all out.
So, how all of this impact you, Jess?
So I think when I think about this, the reason I was very intrigued was kind of what you were saying. Like I have questions about myself because I feel confidently about a lot of things when it comes to me and what I think about the world and all of that. Like I feel very confident, very, like you said, I feel very strongly about reality and all this stuff. And because of that, I could easily slip into not being or not seeing the truth of situations. So I think the impact is that I surround myself with people that I trust. Those people become my friends, and I tell them the truth of my feelings, and they tell me if I'm sounding off. Not all the time do I believe them. Sometimes I'm like, okay, we're going to let reality show me because I don't believe you. But most of the time, I'm just like, I'm keeping people around me that I trust. I think that's the impact. I keep people around me that I trust so that I'm not just sitting to my own devices, because I know that I feel strongly about a lot of things. But I think the thing is, I've also seen people feel strongly about shit and be very wrong. And I'm like, I never want to be that person. So while I do feel strongly about things, and you have to do a lot to change my mind. Like it's not that I'm easily swayed at all, but I keep very strong people around me who stand to their who I trust to be grounded in some sort of sense, who I trust that if they're telling me something, it's not just to change my mind or to, push me to some other version of reality. It's really because like this is unsafe for you to feel this way, or that's not really healthy because I know you and you don't want to think this thing. So let me break down all of these different facets of things. So I think the impact is that I still feel strongly about a lot of shit. I feel confident about a lot of things. I am, I have a lot of conversation with myself. And then, like I said, I keep strong people like around to have a sounding board.
Okay. So
Right?
it sounds like you're very opinionated. You're
Mm-hmm.
very rooted in your opinions.
Mm-hmm.
But what stops you from being delusional is the fact that people can come to you, if they have their dissertation, their research, and their ducks in a row, and
Mm-hmm.
present it to you in a logical
Mm-hmm.
fashion, then
Mm-hmm.
you are able to review the facts,
Yeah.
review the reality, and be like, huh,
I was wrong.
yes.
Yeah. I don't mind being wrong. I don't mind being wrong because that means I have the opportunity to be corrected. Like I know I'm right often, so it seems like I'm like, oh, I have to be right. I just am.
So you value reality over everything. So if you're wrong, because
Yes.
I've heard this from a lot of earth signs, or just like really logical people. Let me not just limit it to earth signs, because
Yeah.
just very logical people that they actually welcome people coming to them and saying with research and letting them know, like, hey, this is actually the truth.
Yes.
And then when you review it, you're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Because I've been walking around with the not truth.
Exactly.
And now I have the truth.
Oh my God. Literally. This literally me. And I know that's hard for people to understand sometimes. They want to sugarcoat or they want to, we had the conversation about that.
Yeah.
And don't be a dick, obviously, but come. No, but I mean, yeah, I definitely value reality over me being right. I don't have to be right. If I'm wrong, present that shit so I'm not wrong. I mean, I don't know. I think that makes sense, but maybe not.
I know it makes sense. I was just talking to somebody today, literally about that. They're like, I don't mind being wrong, but if you're gonna come for me and you're gonna come for what I'm saying, you need to come with something more than your feelings. I need facts.
Yes,
I don't understand. I cannot compute. They literally say it that way.
Mm-hmm,
So,
mm-hmm.
I get it. I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like kind of your approach is, do you feel like that's because you're self-confident? Well, first let me ask you this. Would you consider yourself to have very strong self-confidence?
Yes.
And so your approach to the truth and reality, like that kind of method or that process people have to go through, like they're pretty much challenging something that you feel very confident about.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like that directness, your ability to kind of just take that, is because you have strong self-confidence? Like,
oh, maybe.
Or, yeah.
Maybe. I remember years ago, I had a friend and we were talking about queer identities and just, I have friends who don't believe, I guess, not believe, that's the wrong thing, but they are very strongly religious and believe, what the Bible says and about homosexuality and blah, blah, blah. And it was a group of us having a conversation and they were just expressing their thoughts and I was expressing mine, and there was no offense or anything. Like, that's your opinion. You're allowed to have that. And I'm allowed to have mine. And one of the girls was like, that's why I really like talking to you, because you just stand firm on what you feel. And like, I can come and tell you things and it just is what it is. And I'm like, right, because you're allowed your opinion, you're allowed your thoughts. That doesn't have to change or shift mine. So I think the self-confidence in myself saying like, I know what I'm thinking and what I'm doing is for my greatest good most of the time. I know that what I'm thinking and what I'm doing is because of the type of person that I want to be. So inside, I'm doing these things. So nobody has to see that I'm like internally trying to be a good person. Nobody has to see that I'm internally trying to, write things that I feel like are wrong or weird about me or like that I'm not really fond of. Nobody sees that. I know that. So I think that self-confidence does help, that if somebody presents me information, my whole world doesn't crumble like, oh no, I was wrong. Like, okay, I was wrong. And now I'm not. Shit, I got the information and now I can add that to my Rolodex of shit that I know so that I can like learn some new shit. I was telling somebody the other day, like life for me is just this massive puzzle, right? And I feel like I have all these pieces. My pieces go together really well. But maybe I stuffed this piece where it didn't go. And you came and said, you know what? I know I can see why you stuffed that piece there, but look at this like edge. It don't really go. This one go right there. You know what, nigga? That do go right there. Let me take that piece out and put this one in so it fits. Now I have a better picture of like what this thing is. So I think the self-confidence does help, because you challenging me on something doesn't mean that I'm worthless or doesn't mean that I'm awful. It doesn't mean anything except for that I was wrong about that one thing. And now you've told me, you've given me information to correct it, and now I'm not wrong about that thing anymore.
So
like,
I had it.
Go ahead, ask it. Go ahead.
So
Okay.
do you feel like, people who are kind of open, like, cause it seems like when people bring something to you and say like, yeah, I think you're wrong, immediately you're like, through. All right, you're gonna have to submit documentation for why you think I'm wrong. And then in 2 to 3 business days, after a thorough review process, then you will be allowed to come in and argue your case. Do you feel like those who are kind of more immediately open to the possibility of them being wrong, that it could be a sign of maybe having lower self-confidence?
No. And I don't think that I'm not open to it. I'm not saying I am open.
But
okay, because I was like, I am open. I'm definitely open to being wrong. But you're just not gonna tell me I'm wrong with no proof.
It's immediate. Like, yeah, like, so that person who was like, okay, like they're just open, without like they're
so they just say, go ahead.
They're open to like it's not as much of a struggle. It's not like a debate. It's not like a fight for like to prove to you against your confidence that this could be wrong. It's more like, okay, I could consider that, and but okay, tell me why. And maybe it's, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm asking at this point.
Because what you're saying sounds like me, just maybe not as forceful because of who I am as a person, but I'm definitely like, okay, well, tell me why. Like, but if I come to you and I'd be like, Rena, you're wrong about that, you'd be like, oh no, and you just change to what the fuck I say. I do think there's something that you need to look at. If I come, any random person, they don't know you more than you know you, and they convince you of anything and change your whole thought process, your whole life without any iota of reasons why. This is why we have so many people in cults, because I don't know if it's a self-confidence thing. I don't know what it is. I feel like there's a multitude of facets that goes into that type of like understanding or non-understanding. Like, I think there's just a very shallow footing. Like your footing isn't sure. There's some things that I'm not sure about, and somebody came and told me, I might take that on and be like, okay, but I'm gonna research because I'm a fucking researcher. But I feel like there is some unsureness if I could just come to you and be like, Rena, I don't know about you wearing your hair in locks. You'd be like, oh, okay, that look good. Let me take my locks out then. What?
That's wild.
You know what I'm saying? Like that sounds crazy to me. That, I mean, and like I said, I can't pass judgment on why you would just be so eager. Because actually, years ago, somebody else that had this conversation with me about the fact that I'm not just like easily persuaded, and I didn't have anybody that could just tell me shit and I'd be like, oh, okay, that's true. And I was like, well, no, my mom, I said, she told me about this girls, college, women's college. And I was like, oh, that's whack. And then, but she was like, let's go. We went. And then I was like, yeah, once I saw. And they were like, no, but you had to see first. And I was like, right. But I listened enough to go check it out. Like, I trust you enough to go check it out. I don't just trust you enough to know what the fuck I like. I don't trust you enough to just change my opinion. It's mine. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's easy for you to come tell me, like, hey, this is my opinion of like the thing, or I'm offering you this bit of information. Am I going to just accept it and change my entire mindset based on you? Who are you? Who is Todd? Have you heard that?
No.
Why would I care about Todd? Who is Todd? That's the meaty audio. I know. Me and these audios.
I'm like, I am like, when it comes to social media, I think I am just greatly removed because people have been quoting stuff like all week, and I'm like, no, I don't know who that is. I don't know who any of these people are. Never heard that a day in my life.
That's
okay.
Funny.
No,
but essentially, it's like, who are you to change my entire mindset? So maybe it's something about confidence in oneself. If I could just change your mind with my word alone.
It sounds like critical thinking skills. That's like a requirement to self-confidence. That's what it sounds like.
You think so?
That's what I think.
Okay.
I think you have to be able to assess the situation. You have to be able to consider yourself, consider the person that's giving you the information, consider the facts that they're providing.
Yeah.
And I think the more you do that, the more confident you are in discerning things.
Mm-hmm.
So, because like you said, your mom, like if it was just like a homeless person who came off the street, like, you should go to this school, you're probably like, I don't know. Okay.
Right.
That's interesting.
No, thanks.
Like, I'll remember the school, and if I have some time and I feel compelled personally, I'll look into it. Mm-hmm. Versus your mom, who is somebody, you crawled out of her vagina and everything. And then, she got you to this point in your life where you're considering going to college. So, clearly this lady has made some decisions in your overall care where you put confidence in her. So you could consider yourself, consider who you're receiving the information from, mm-hmm. consider what she's saying to make mm-hmm. the decision. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's hard to become confident in yourself if your decisions aren't made by you.
Well, yeah.
So
yeah, and that's all I've ever felt. But I didn't realize that wasn't a thing until I've been confronted with this kind of conversation a few times. Like, oh,
a few times, damn. People like, so you just don't listen. You're like, that's not really what's going on.
That's not what I heard you. I heard you and I listened and I computed and it didn't make sense to me. Like, if that makes sense for you, fine. I'm not about to change my opinion. The reason this conversation came about is because somebody's mom was like, oh, I heard that eating hot food or drinking hot food it causes some kind of whatever irritant to your throat, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, wow, thank you for sharing, whatever. And I was just like really polite. And the person whose mom they was like, oh, wow, you just, you was looking like, oh, like I didn't just absorb it and I'm going to just stop eating hot food now because you told me this fact or tidbit that you found on Facebook. I don't know where you found it. I don't know. I didn't hear that. I go to the doctors enough for them to tell me like, oh, hot food is out. Like, it's just, I'm not just about to take your word for it. Who the fuck are you? I will listen. I will hear you. I even have that bit of knowledge still stored in my head. I remember the conversation. So I was listening. I'm just not going to change my entire anything for just anybody, for nobody, really.
I think that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Okay, but what's the impact for you? We've been all around the merry-go-round.
I know, right? I told you I'm a questioner and a wire.
Wire.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm giving you proof, so I'm not delusional. Like, this is fact.
That's fact. That's basic reality. I like
it. So the impact of these concepts, delusional versus self-confidence, is that, sometimes I really question, like, am I as good as I think I am? Or am I just in awe of a future hypothetical potential that I may have one day, sometime, somewhere?
Wow. It's a lot of maybe words.
Right. Or like, have I just been on like a pipe dream narrative that I picked up from somewhere? Like, is this in my reality at all?
Mhm.
So the impact is that these terms have made me kind of question if I really want the things I say I want. Like, because if I'm not willing to do the work, and we just had this whole conversation about the work,
Mhm.
and I just told you how I feel about work.
Yeah.
Is it that I lack self-confidence, or am I delusional and I have no business doing whatever it is that I'm seeking to do? I'm just saying this is an impact.
Okay, I'm here. I'm hearing you.
Come
I'm
up
gonna let
as
you
a
speak.
result of these things.
Right.
And then also, I feel like when it comes to being delusional or having self-confidence, in a way, it's made it hard for me to toot my own horn in certain situations.
Okay.
Out of fear that my self-confidence may be misconstrued as arrogance or being delusional.
Mhm.
So I feel like sometimes there's a thin line between the two, like being confident and like being arrogant. We just had that conversation. I feel like there's a bigger gap between being arrogant and being delusional, because there has to be work and reality in there somewhere. Like,
Mhm.
those things are usually missing if you're delusional.
Mhm.
And anyway, I feel like I'm more inclined to, or less inclined to be delusional and convince myself that I'm the next coming of Beyonce. I don't know why she is the
Right, the it girl for the day.
I mean, but if you want to sponsor us, because we've mentioned you so often, you're so gracious. Am I delusional in thinking that Beyonce would actually listen
Yes,
to our podcast?
that's delusional. Yes.
Maybe I'm just confident that one day she will come across it, and
Okay.
it's
That's
possible.
beautiful.
It's
It is.
possible.
I mean, we're on the internet. Anything is possible. You're right.
Exactly.
You're right.
Exactly.
Beyonce, we love you.
Nah, don't try to speak to Beyonce now.
And I mean, this is exactly what I said, though. You've given me information with facts, and I've taken it on. This is what it looks like for you to change with facts. And you're right. We're on the internet. Beyonce could hear us. And I would love to be, an opening act for you.
Here we go.
We would love to interview you. Get some words of wisdom. Anything else, Rena? What would we be like?
I don't even know. I didn't think of it this far.
Let me just give you a sample of my singing Beyonce. Remember? No, I'm just playing.
I'm about to say, it better be good. We talk about being delusional. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Not roasting me on the podcast.
No, we've heard your voice several times. We all know you can blow. So
good for nothing type arena.
Wow.
Silly me. I don't know. I was about to rhyme something, but I'm tired. Wow.
Okay. I mean, you did all of that. All of those dramatics.
All the dramatics. I can't help it. Even when I'm tired, I'm dramatic. Can't help it. Anyway, so
that's your default. And I'm not finished. So long story short,
okay.
I have issues. The overall impact is that I have issues with both of these words. This is entitled "It's a Mess Sis" podcast for a reason.
Yeah, that's true.
So issues are implied.
Yeah, true. So you have issues with both the words.
Yeah, because they both scare me.
Okay.
Both words scare me. Both of them just terrify me. With self-confidence, I feel like it means like I really have to believe in me and everything I stand for and enforce it and protect it, and there's a fear of losing it and losing balance with it and becoming arrogant, and then delusional just means I am protecting my pride and hiding the truth so deep that it's even hidden from myself because I fear that truth.
Wow.
So it's like, I am just like, that's where I am with it.
Okay, I like it. I like it. I mean, that is very interesting that there's fear for both. And I understand, obviously, I understand, but I just wonder.
Is that obvious?
Oh, maybe it's not. Is it not obvious?
I don't know what makes it obvious. I guess if it were obvious, then it would be obvious, but it's not obvious, so therefore it's not obvious.
What? I was gonna try to understand, but it is too late at night, and my brain capacity, Not today.
I guess
Not-
I wouldn't
not
be
right now.
asking if it were obvious. So why is it
Got
obvious
it.
that you agree with?
It's not. You just said it's not obvious. So I agree with you because we have been taught that self-confidence is a negative,
Oh,
if I'm honest.
okay.
That's why. I mean, because me standing firm in myself, I was out with a couple of girls and they were like, "Can you drive on the way back?" I said, "Sure." And they were like, "Oh, let me put some charging cord on." And I was like, "No, I would rather you put the music on because I have the iPhone where, they're dumb and it's either one or the other." And so the one girl was like, "Oh, you're demanding." How am I demanding? I just told you what I want. Like there's this understanding about people who are confident in themselves that comes off as hard to take for people who are not confident. So my confidence has shifted your whole perception of yourself. And now you feel like I've pushed my boundaries onto you and you've allowed me to move you in ways you didn't want to be moved because you don't have any confidence of what you want or what you need. So my confidence feels aggressive. It feels, whatever it feels to you. It feels too bold. It feels demanding. It feels arrogant. It feels a lot of things. When no, I just know what I like and I know what I want. And I'm not being demanding. I'm just telling you this is what I want. I'm not going to say it in a way. I don't know, but you have a question.
I do have a
Yes.
question.
Yes.
Do you think that would be the case if you were a man?
I think
I would say my answer. I don't think so.
yeah.
I think self-confidence is something that we want to see in men. And if we don't see that, it's not seen as aggressive, it's seen as assertive, it's seen as mandatory, it's seen as it needs to be there. But when it comes to women, and it's even interesting that it's a woman who said that to you.
I mean, women are misogynistic also. We were raised in this society. So
right.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that's how deep it runs. Because if that's her response to you as a woman, seeing a woman doing that, then that's clearly the standard she holds herself to.
Yeah.
So, that right there, that having that confidence, it's when it's in women, she's immediately called a bitch or seen as aggressive or even seen as domineering or manly, masculine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay.
That's real shit. I can see that. I mean, I don't know. This is a tough one though, because I think because I am so strong and because of the messages that I have heard, I have always wanted to make sure that I told the line with self-confidence so as to not be. I got out here and I started singing and stuff and doing the musical, which, it was great. And one of the girls in there was like, "You need to stop downplaying yourself so much." And I was like, I do that because I feel very like a lot of great things about myself. I like myself a lot. And I don't want to appear arrogant. I don't want to appear all the things. So I get it. That's why I'm explaining why I was agreeing with you since it wasn't obvious. But yeah, I agree with you about that. And I also don't want to be delusional and thinking that I'm the best I could ever be, no, there's still room for improvement, so I definitely understand that the two words are like a little tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just, sometimes I'm just like, why can't I just be like, why do I even have to label it? Like, why are there labels? Like,
yeah.
But I think you hit the nail on the head that self-confidence is seen as negative. It's seen as something you don't show. It's something you are expected to have. But as soon as you broadcast it, or if it becomes too apparent, if it becomes too visible, then people are like, oh,
how dare you love yourself? How little you believe in you?
How dare you love yourself?
What? Are we not out here loving ourselves?
And then I feel like people start to like pick you apart when it becomes like clear that you have confidence. And it's almost like they're looking to see if you're delusional.
Ooh.
I feel like they're trying to like test
trying to find ways where it doesn't fit. You shouldn't be confident because this.
Right. And I think like maybe humanity, we hold this narrative that like if you're too confident, then you believe something that you shouldn't believe. Like that there's something else. Like why is it that you're confident? Like
It's
why do you
because
feel that
people
way?
aren't, I feel like it's when you are confident, especially when you look or are something that they don't feel should be confident. If you look like a supermodel, you can be the most arrogant girl in the world.
Which
And
I
they're like,
don't get.
oh, I understand because if I were you, I would be confident. But if you're Lizzo,
I was
for
just about to
instance,
say,
and you're
yeah.
on Instagram doing the same
Also,
shit these other hoes are doing, posting their thirst traps, got the ass out, got the bikinis on, the same exact shit. Then you question someone's confidence because I wouldn't be confident if I were you.
and they would
So
even
you don't,
go as far as say she's delusional.
they would. They would.
So then that's like, okay, if you believe it and you feel like you have the facts and other people don't believe it and they think you're delusional, then where are we?
What do you mean?
Like, say take Lizzo for instance, right?
If
You know,
everybody believes, then
yeah,
is she actually delusional?
yeah.
I think that's a whole nother conversation. Because
Like, does your personal belief outweigh? Is your personal belief creating reality?
yes, to some degree,
To a
yes,
certain degree.
yes,
You
yes.
need something external to kind of like some
I
type
think it's you're right. When it comes to that, it's hard because societally our minds are warped if we're talking about that. So
our minds are warped. That's
you know
exactly
what I'm
what I'm
saying?
trying to say.
It's just warped. Like yeah, you have a whole society of people that think that she shouldn't love herself because she looks bigger than the people that they would love. What? Yeah, so I don't know. That one's hard. That one's hard. I don't know. Like now I'm like really thinking. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, but it's not everybody.
It's not. No, in reality, no.
You know what I
It's not
mean?
everybody.
It's not.
It's not everybody.
So I think if it's everybody saying like, "Ma'am, you're not the
But
president,"
like,
then you're not the president. But if it's like half of the populace of one country or something that disagrees with you, then it's like Trump. His supporters were in a whole different reality. That wasn't the reality for the majority of the world. That was delusion.
It's like the whole thing with the flat earthers, like
the earth is
the whole
flat,
debate.
So just kidding. I'm just kidding. Your face was so funny. He was like, we're gonna have to cut that out.
I'm like, okay. I think I'm like, if I just sit here long enough, like, okay.
I'm weak. That's funny. But what were you saying about the flat earthers?
That there's people who really believe like that the earth is flat, and then there's people who feel like they're delusional. So
I mean, I think, okay, does it matter if you're delusional?
I mean, okay, I think if honestly, like me personally, should I even be saying this? I should probably get my license first before I say this.
Oh no!
I feel like from in my personal opinion.
Okay, there we go. That was a struggle. Okay, from your personal opinion.
I feel like nothing really matters unless it starts to disrupt your functioning or it places you or another person, at risk for harm. Mm-hmm. So I don't really give a fuck if somebody thinks the earth is flat or round or a triangle or whatever. Mm-hmm. I think when it comes to that point where you're going to jail over it, you can't support yourself, you can't contribute to society, that's when it becomes an issue. That's just my personal opinion. I don't
feel
think
you. If somebody really, if the person on the street is like, I'm Barack Obama, and they're just like living their life thinking they're
Right.
Barack Obama, like, okay,
Right.
hey Barack.
Right. But they're not trying to like steal his social security number, not trying to like break
Right.
into his home,
Right.
not trying to pick his kids up from the airport or something
Oh,
crazy.
wait. Yeah.
That he's just like, I'm Barack Obama,
It's like, okay, cool. Mr. Obama, I'm about to pass you on the street here. Excuse me. Yeah. I mean, that's interesting. Life is just, I swear doing this late at night is not a good idea. Because now I'm just saying all my late night bullshit thoughts. Like, y'all hearing the late night thoughts. Like,
this is exactly when we should do it. We're switching our recordings to midnight.
I'm down.
All the time now.
We could go late. Maybe.
I'm just thinking about now that we brought it up, I'm just thinking about all these people who have made these grand statements. And I'm like
what?
Like, when what's the name? Jacquees, whatever. He called himself like the king of R&B or something like that. And
that was
like,
wild.
Bruh.
Yeah. That was delusion.
Right. So
that was delusion.
But he's fine. Like, he still made music. He didn't cause any issues. Like when Tory Lanez was like, oh, I didn't shoot her in the foot twice, but she got like bullets in her goddamn heel.
Is that delusion? Or is that something else? I guess that's delusion. It's a lie.
It's a lie.
It's a lie.
So what's the difference between delusion and a lie? Do you believe the lie? You believe the lie.
You believe the lie. Interesting.
Just like he probably believed that hair grew from his scalp. I hope he don't believe that.
What are we talking about?
Tory Lanez. Anyway.
You lost me. I was like, what? Where are we going? See, late night. This is just, oh my word. Okay. So are we to the cope now then?
We are. I think we are. I think if we keep thinking about it, I'm gonna keep asking questions. And
you are. And then my answer's gonna get more and more loopy and more goofy.
Oh, maybe we should keep going.
Hell no, this shit gonna be, y'all gonna be like, what the hell is this bitch talking about? And and I don't know. It's delusions at this point. I do not know.
No, if it were a delusion, you would know. It just wouldn't be true.
You're right. So how am I coping with being my understanding of being confident, and what does it mean to be delusional? For me, that really just means keeping people close to me who help me keep grounded, without shrinking me, because I am a large persona. I have a large spirit. I don't want you to dim my shine by humbling me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am grand and I am living in that, and I am happy with that. I don't need you to try to shrink me. What I need for if I'm moving in a place that you know that I don't want to move, if the way that I'm moving is going to be ill towards people, if the way that I'm moving is going to eventually hurt me or hurt those that I love, let's have the conversation. Bring me to some sort of reality where it's like, I don't think you're seeing that this could be fucked up to this group of people. I don't think you want to do that, but here's the facts. Take it how you will. So I keep people around me that I trust, that I know that love me, that want me, that elevate me, that continue to big me up, even though I'm already big. When you have a large personality, sometimes people want to shrink you and they don't want to big you up. It's like, oh, you got the big head, whatever type of thing. But I keep people around me that love me for who I am. Loud, dramatic, all these things, but also can be like, hey, boo, this is the thing. And so that's how I cope. I cope by just finding those people that have that, I don't know, they have that thing. They just have the thing.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense for the most part. Like,
okay, for the most part. Why you say that did not make sense?
I don't know what makes sense to him. He
treats and love like all of us.
He gets that.
From who? I'm just playing. I just had to bring you back to reality. Not funny?
Damn lie.
Oh, okay. That was delusional of me?
Yes, very much so.
Okay, sorry.
The fact that
Okay.
he is still alive proves that.
You sound like Black parents. I kept you alive. What more did you want? Love?
You sound like Black.
Peace? Happiness? Joy? Extra treats? A hug? Okay, so you said for the most part. I know I'm tired, so tell me, what did it make sense?
I forgot what you said.
Okay,
You
don't
said
matter.
you said you keep people around you that keep you grounded, right?
Yeah,
So
without shrinking me.
Without shrinking you. So like, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay,
I think the for the most part was, well, you were like, and do the things. See, I heard a lot of things, and the people who, they just do the things, and you kind of ended it like that. And I was like, what things? And I think that's
I'm
the most
tired.
part.
Okay.
Like, you just ended it with things.
I just, that was in summation. Everything I had already said. Really just talking to me, loving me for who I am, allowing me to be as big as I am, as extra as I am, and not trying to shrink me down to size, to bite-sized manageable pieces. But when there is something that is becoming maybe problematic for me or for those that I love, because they know me, because they care, they can bring that to me and help me to maintain a semblance of like balance in reality, and not going so far outside of myself that it's not real anymore, that it maybe is a delusion now or something. I just keep people around me that's going to tell me the truth, essentially.
Okay. That's very interesting. I don't want to ask any more questions because I feel like that's just going to open up a whole new.
I want to know what though, but also, okay, you're right. What's your coping? How you coping?
I feel like, okay, so coping with all of this is really going to be rooted in being open.
Okay.
Being open to reviewing the facts and getting information and continuing to make decisions for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And taking my time, because see, I feel like I am, based off of what I know about myself, I am less likely to be delusional. I feel like,
wow, that is problematic. I'm just playing. Go ahead.
Like, I feel like my issue is that, like, I don't say it's like an issue, but like, I feel like my confidence, like I would have more of a chance of kind of dimming my shine and not being as confident or being as upfront or as confident as I should be in myself, which I feel like self-confidence is really just belief in yourself. Like, go ahead.
You feel like delusion is only bigging yourself up?
No.
So you don't feel like it's delusional when you lessen yourself?
Oh.
I
never considered that. Oh. Fuck. Damn. Well, okay, let me think about that. Okay. So we're actually getting a cope in real life, real time action.
Yeah,
right now.
I want to see you cope with this. Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense, because when we say that, it's pretty much, you have this belief that's not rooted in reality. Now, if you really are good at something, but you just don't feel like you're good, but everybody, but then that goes back to it. If everybody says you're good, but you don't feel like you're good at it, then but who are you going to believe? It's kind of like the whole thing with Lizzo. Like, if everybody says like, nah, you shouldn't be confident, but she's like, but I feel confident, then who do we go with?
Yourself.
Right. But if I feel like I'm not that great, but everybody else is like, I'm great, then who do we go with?
That's a hard one. I mean, I feel like
I'm just being devil's advocate at this point.
Yeah.
Like
why? Why? I mean, you have a point. But I think that's why it's so important to build up your sense of self based on you, based on the things you would judge other people on, so for me, I say that, I know that sounded weird, but what I'm saying is, like, if I hear myself, and if I heard somebody else sound the way I sounded and I would tell them that it's good, then I would tell me that it's good. If I hear me and if I heard somebody else singing, I'd be like, eesh. Then I'm like myself. So I feel like it's like any muscle. It takes practice if you haven't built up confidence in a way. So no, you're not gonna always be good. You need to have that understanding about yourself as well. Like you need to be able to say that wasn't great. Like and that's not just for like talents or things. That's just for like personality shit too. Like you being a real dick. Like work on that shit or know that you're a dick. But I think it's like anything. It's just taking the time to really see yourself, sit with yourself. And if somebody did that shit to you, I'd be having to do that. Like somebody did that shit to you, you would think they was a dick.
So okay, so
You
then
know?
so then I would cope by, it seems like, telling myself the truth, no matter if it's in what favor it's in. If it's in my favor or in favor of me doing something else, it's just always telling yourself the truth, and that also will combat you. That'll stop you from being delusional, because the whole point of being delusional is that it's not true. So getting to know yourself, getting to know your truth internally, and then getting to know the truth externally, and then combining them. So yeah, that's how I would cope. I would say having balance between those two. And just being always being open to the truth.
Yeah. Yes. I think that's gonna bring us to the recap.
Okay.
Because I feel like that's amazing. I feel like to be self-confident and to be to not be delusional is to be open to the truth. I feel like that's the recap. I feel like that's really brilliant, because if you are open to the truth, no matter what, you can be confident in yourself and be wrong. You can be, you don't have to head toward delusion to make it okay, to mystify things, to all those things. It's like I can be wrong. I don't mind. And I know that's funny because I'm right and I do, whatever, I have those things, but literally I don't mind. I do be wrong. And tell me and give me the facts. And then let me be right now. Let me correct it. You know what I'm saying? So that I can be right. We'll get back to right type of thing. So I think that was a beautiful little summation. Be open to the truth.
All right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Same. Yeah. This was a fun episode, tired and all. I hope y'all, when we listen back to this, I hope it don't sound crazy. I'm going to listen to this when I'm not tired.
When will that be?
Next year. No, this way. No, I'm gonna listen and edit. And if it sounds too crazy, y'all ain't gonna hear half this shit. But I think it's gonna be good. Every time I think, I'm like, dang, I was so tired, or I was so this. When I listen back and be like, oh, that was funny as fuck. But yeah, this was a dope episode. I'm still gonna be pondering this, I think, just because it's a lot that we kind of put out there today. So I'm interested. I'm intrigued by it.
Yeah, I think for me, just kind of as just like a last minute thing, it's just that discovery that that's fear of being delusional.
Yeah,
I think I definitely have a fear of being delusional. And I think that that has an impact on my self-confidence.
Okay, because you don't want to go. Well, let me tell you, with me in your life, I ain't gonna let you get there. No, shucks, that's delusional.
And that's probably why I'm surrounded by like so much earth energy.
Grounding. Yeah. Right. We try to help people.
If I thought to lift, if I thought maybe in a former life I was just gone. Maybe I was just straight delusional. And this time I feel like I'm sending reinforcements.
Hold this bitch down. Oh my goodness. It's nothing wrong with a little lift every now and then. It's nothing wrong with air. We're all here for each. And I think we all take a little from each other. And I feel like to be lifted is to grow, is to expand and to expound. So there's nothing wrong with a little lift, but one toe on the ground ain't gonna hurt you. Keep even if that's all the ground you got. One toe, that's still grounded,
Yeah, okay.
You ain't gotta float off.
No 10 toes down, just one.
Just one. That's all you need. The big toe. Don't put the pinky. That one's a little light. Oh man. But okay, that kind of wrapped it up. Is there any shout outs that you have for this week?
I do not.
Okay. I would like to shout out the Black Femmes in Denver who I just got to see. I love y'all. Y'all are beautiful. And honestly, they were some of the light that I needed during some really dark moments in my life. And I'm just very appreciative. So shout out to y'all. I love y'all very much. I'm glad I got to see y'all and everything like that. But that's it for the shout outs. And now we are to my favorite part, which is the meditation. If you're new, what we do is take a couple deep breaths. We set an intention, take another set of breaths, and then we let you go about your day. So what I want you to do for me is to take a big deep breath. We'll take a second deep breath. And take one more deep breath. All right, we're going to set our intention. I intend to continue to keep strong people around me so that when and if I ever were to step into delusion, they can bring me back to reality. I continue to manifest self-confidence by continuing to be open to the truth.
Dang, you stole what I was going to say.
I'm so sorry.
I was going to say, my intention is just to stay open to the truth and maintain balance between, my internal beliefs as well as the beliefs that are out there. So, the external ones.
External beliefs. I love that. Okay, we'll take our last set of breaths. Take another big deep breath with me. We'll take a second deep breath. And we'll take our last deep breath. All right. Our intentions have been set for the day. Go out there and flourish today. Doesn't have to be a mess.
But it's okay if it is.
So, Liz, y'all, thank y'all so much for tuning in again. We appreciate y'all being along for this ride, whether we tired, whether we happy, whether we up, whether we down. We appreciate y'all still being here with us, ride through to the end. We love y'all so much. I forgot to say earlier that if you have any pieces of mess that you would like us to read, how you've worked through them, all of that, please hit us up at whatsthemesssis@gmail.com. Also, if you ever have any topic ideas you'd like us to discuss, email us at itsamesssis@gmail.com. Is there anything else, Rena?
Nope, that is it.
Okay, we're going to catch y'all on the flip side. Peace.
Peace.
It's a mess.
Hey, that's why I can't sing.
It's okay. He's going to talk over my singing though. Okay, it's ready now.